Hi guys, welcome back to The Baseline. Thank you so much for joining me again. So imagine this with me. The camera's cut, the reporters, they shuffle out, and the podium lights, they just fade. But the question, it lingers. It lingers in the air like feedback from a broken mic. What happens when the president doctor goes silent? They tell us everything's fine. Chronic venous insufficiency. They say a little swelling, a few bruises, maybe too many handshakes. But something just doesn't seem to be adding up right now. Because a few months after his annual physical, Donald Trump quietly takes another, right? And this time, there's an MRI involved. Now, an MRI isn't like checking your blood pressure. It's not a just because scan. It's the medical equivalent of calling in the bomb squad. And when the White House says advanced imaging, but won't say where, the story starts to write itself. Now, somewhere between April and October, something changed. And somewhere between the exam room and the press room, the truth got lost in translation. Now, they always talk about transparency. They say transparency. But everybody else seems to be seeing shadows. Remember how his aide handled it? I think she said something like, I'll check back on that. But she never did. That's Washington's oldest reflex, the polite stall, the gaslighting. It's like a waiter saying, hey, you know what? Your food's on the way when the kitchen's on fire. So let's freeze frame this moment, okay? A sitting president, age 79, just suffered an election wipeout. Cameras captured him wandering, slurring, confusing names. He boasts about the perfect MRI, then attacks his opponent's IQ. And the doctor, he's silent, which I think he might have to be, right, with the HEPA laws and everything. But we've seen this movie before. In 1984, the Kremlin hid Brezhnev's stroke for years. In 1989, the Chinese premier vanished mid-conference. And in 2025, America's repeating the trick, just with better lighting. So let's take a breath and pause for just a moment, right? This isn't about whether Donald Trump's sick or not. It's about the system. It's about the system that thinks we can't handle the truth. Because every time a leader hides behind a medical memo, democracy seems to lose just another heartbeat. It's like your mechanic handing you a note that says, hey, you know what? Your car, it's running perfectly right after you heard the engine explode. And this is the irony to all of it. The same machine that mocked Joe Biden's stutter now gaslights the nation about Trump's speech slurs. The same pundits who demanded cognitive tests every week, which they should have, by the way. But now they're pretending MRIs are part of routine maintenance. And that's not politics. That's performance art at its worst. So think about what this means for trust. If the president's health is treated like a state secret, what else is? I mean, energy deals, foreign troop movements, election interference. The body of the leader becomes the metaphor for the body of politics. Bloated, bruised, hidden under bandages of PR. It's Shakespearean. King Lear in a golf cart. And the court whispers, the fool tells jokes, and the kingdom pretends the crown isn't slipping. And yet, somewhere deep down, we all know how this ends. Because every time empire hides its decline behind ceremony, it goes bad. Rome blamed the gods. Britain blamed the colonies. We blame chronic venous insufficiency. But this isn't just about medical charts. It's about moral ones too. A democracy that can't tell the truth about its own leader's health is a democracy that's scared of its own reflection. So let's connect the dots here. April 2025, annual physical, excellent health. October 2025, surprise, follow-up MRI, which is perfect. And then November 2025, silence, confusion, evasions. If this were a company filing the SEC, they would be knocking at the door. And if it were your grandma's checkup, you'd demand the real report. But when it's the commander-in-chief, we shrug and scroll. And that's not patriotism. That's sedation. And here's the bottom line, because I know that's the moment you lean in for, right? We deserve to know whether the man holding the nuclear codes is medically fit to recognize a stop sign. And that's not meant to be cruel. It's not cruelty. That's just basic civic hygiene. Transparency isn't disrespect. It's the oxygen of a republic. And maybe the real question isn't, does Trump have dementia? Maybe it's, does the system have amnesia? Because we've forgotten who's supposed to work for who. Every hidden MRI, every vague press note, every wink and nod briefing says the same thing. You don't need to know. But the truth, we always did. So tonight, remember the scene, right? The reporters leave the room, the cameras, they stop rolling, and somewhere in a drawer at Walter Reed, a file labeled advanced imaging waits in the dark. Because the next time they tell you a story about a perfect MRI, you have to ask yourself, we all have to ask ourselves, perfect for who? Who is this perfect for? All right, guys. Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? Do you guys have the same concerns? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, you guys know I read and reply to all the comments and value your guys' opinion. And thank you again so much for watching me here on The Baseline, and we'll catch you on the next round. All right. Cheers, everybody.